The leftovers in the fridge smelled a little weird, but you went ahead and ate them. You were so hungry, you didn't even heat them up. A couple of hours later, though, you started to feel sick. Powerful waves of pain rumbled through your stomach. They went away, but not for long. Then, you even threw up.
That sounds like a case of food poisoning. No one put poison in your food unless someone is really mad at you. But bacteria probably grew in the food that you were placing in the fridge. And those bacteria will make you sick. Food poisoning can be mild or it can be more serious. So, let's find out how to avoid it.
Food poisoning comes from eating foods that contain germs like bad bacteria or toxins, which are poisonous substances. Bacteria are all around us, so mild cases of food poisoning are common. You may have had mild food poisoning with diarrhea and an upset stomach, but your mom or dad just called it a stomach bug or stomach virus.
You might think the solution is to get rid of all the bacteria, but it isn't possible and you wouldn't want to do it, even if you could. Bacteria are all around us, including in food, and sometimes they can be good for us. It's confusing, but one thing is for sure, the bacteria in the rotten leftovers weren't the good for you kind, but you can learn how to avoid these germs in food.
Which germs are to blame? Foods from animals, raw foods, and unwashed vegetables. All these contain germs that can cause food poisoning. The most likely source is the food from animals, like meat, poultry such as chickens, eggs, milk, and shellfish such as shrimp.
Some of the most common bacteria are Salmonella, Listeria, Campylobacter, and E. coli.
To avoid food poisoning, people need to prepare, cook, and store foods properly. Someone who has food poisoning might
Have an upset stomach called nausea. Have stomach cramps.
have diarrhea, which may contain blood.
Have fever. Have a fever.
Sometimes, feeling sick from food poisoning shows up within hours of eating the bad food. At other times, someone may not feel sick until several days later. With mild cases of food poisoning, you will not feel sick for very long and you will soon be feeling fine again. If you go to the doctor, this would likely be a scene.
How are you feeling? When did you first feel sick? What did you eat in the past few days? Do you know anyone else who's also sick?
The doctor might take a sample of your stool and urine to test for possible germs that might have caused food poisoning. The type of treatment that you'll get from food poisoning depends on the specific germ that is making you sick. The doctor might give you medicine, but most of the time, someone who has food poisoning doesn't need to take medicine.
Many things can be done to prevent food poisoning. These precautions should be taken at every stage a food takes, from the preparation to the cooking and to the storing of leftovers. One of the best ways is to wash your hands if you are helping to prepare foods. If you don't, then here's how germs can travel.
You help make hamburger patties. You get bad bacteria from the raw ground beef on your hands. You hold your little sister's hand. She uses that hand to eat a snack. Now, the bacteria have made it inside and can make her sick.
Here are the steps that you can take to keep your food safe.
Wash fruits and vegetables well before eating them. Only eat foods that are properly cooked.
Milk is a good example. If you've ever had a sip of sour milk, you know you never want to taste that again. Mold, which can be green, pink, white, or brown, is also often a sign that food has spoiled.
If you're going to eat leftovers, heat them up. By heating them, you can kill bacteria that grew while it was in the fridge.
Check the date. Lots of packaged foods have expiration dates or sell-by dates. Don't eat a food if today's date is after the expiration date. Use it before it expires.
Cover and refrigerate food right away. Bacteria get a good chance to grow in foods that sit at room temperature. By putting foods in the fridge, you're putting the chill on those bad germs.